Good afternoon or evening to everyone, whenever this uploads. It's been a while. I don't know exactly how long, but it's been a while since I talked to you on YouTube. And somebody left me a comment the other day about that. Excuse my voice, I'm getting over an illness. Been sick all weekend, and I'm getting over it, but slowly but surely. But anyway, not a big deal, just one of those things that hits you, comes on, knocks you on your butt for a few days, and then you just got to get up and get moving again. But anyway, someone contacted me a few days ago and asked me, if I'm on YouTube anymore, if I'm doing anything or whatever. I just basically told them that, mostly I'm doing Substack live streams because there's less censorship, and I mean, I didn't explain all this to them, but I've talked to you all about this before. Excuse me. There's just less censorship, and I can kind of be more myself on there because of that. And however, there is apparently a red line you can cross even on Substack. I think I crossed it the other day because they shut my stream down right in the middle and didn't let me know. I felt like such an idiot. It wasn't until a guy named Tom came on and told me, it's like, we can't hear you, there's no sound, later, kind of thing. And I'm like, huh? I had no idea. I mean, because a lot of times people don't comment and chat or anything anyway, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, depends on who's on there and what they have to say. But I'm just going on and on and on, and it's just like there's nobody there because the stream got cut off. And I know this because when I looked to possibly upload it later, there wasn't anything there. So I did another one, and I made it a little more, I wouldn't say family friendly, but let's just say it was not as harsh in rhetoric or in detail, in description. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. If people are wondering where I'm at, what I'm doing those Substack live streams. Some people on YouTube are over there, and I appreciate that. Anybody's welcome to join if you want to. I've posted the link a few times. YouTube is still punishing me quite a bit. I can share certain things, I can't share other things. So I still can't share links to things. But like I said, I've shared the link many times. I might be able to share it in the comments section or whatever, description or whatever when I upload this. But anyway, just want to check in with y'all and just say hi. It's beautiful here today. A little chilly, not horrible, not like freezing like it is in other areas where it's just brutal weather, brutal temperatures, brutal ice, brutal snow, just terrible. So I'll take this. We got 40 right now and beautiful sunshine and blue skies. Thank you, Jesus. I'll take this. So won't remain that way. We're supposed to get some really bad weather coming in this way within the next few days or so. Definitely into the weekend. But I'm going to enjoy this while I can, while it lasts. But anyway, I hope y'all are doing well out there. And, I really wasn't even going to come on here today, to be honest with you. But I've got some time. I'm back at work, and I've got a little time before I get to where I need to get to. And I was actually texting with a friend, and he reminded me of something, not only with his messages that he puts out, but he just reminded me of something, just because of how he conducts himself, not only as a man, but as a believer in Jesus Christ, and not just a guy that, preaches, but practices what he preaches, And when I was texting with him, I started thinking about some things, and I shared it a little bit with him, and, I said, I'm with you on your messages. And the messages he's basically putting out is, love one another, help one another, serve one another, Doesn't necessarily say this because he's a really nice guy, but or I'm not all that nice all the time, So I mean, my encouragement to people is with his messages, even though he doesn't really say this, but my encouragement to people is step out of your comfort zone. And if you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone and do something for others or for the kingdom, just shut your mouth. That's my message. I know, well, that's harsh, that's mean. Well, why am I saying that? You're always saying things like that, Ken, that's mean. Why am I saying that? Well, because when I know of true men of God that really practice what they preach, and they go out in the streets, and they're amongst, the downtrodden, the homeless, the drug users, the alcoholics, the prostitutes, you name it, the people that most people wouldn't touch or talk to, if their life depended on it practically. And this is a man who does that consistently, constantly. And all he does is get crap for it, to be honest with you, by so-called Christians, by so-called believers. People I refer to kind of like as the modern-day Pharisees, that same ones that, accuse Jesus for healing on the Sabbath kind of thing. It's like, how can you go out there on this day, and how can you do that at this time, and why are you even out there at all, and don't you know these people are a lost cause kind of thing. It's just like, man, wow. It's a good thing Jesus didn't think that about all of us, huh? Because, I mean, I gotta tell you, he's a better man than I am. It's a better man than I am. I wouldn't take it. Okay? I just wouldn't take it. And the reason I wouldn't take it is because on a personal level, pretty much anything that I've ever set out to do in my life, I at least attempted. I may not have always succeeded, but I at least attempted. And I might have been successful to a certain extent for a certain period of time, but at least I made the attempt. At least I made the effort. At least I took the risk and stepped out. And a lot of you have as well. Some of you haven't. Some of you are content staying in a comfort zone, never stepping out, never taking a risk, and basically regretting your whole life. You may not be content doing that, but that's pretty much what it is. Because if you know there's things in your heart, your mind, your soul, whatever, that you should do but are unwilling to do or won't do, then that's going to fill your heart and your life with regret eventually. So I encourage people to step out of your comfort zone, take a risk. You never know what might happen. That's why it's called a risk. There are no guarantees. But if you step out, you take a risk, you might just succeed. You might just find something that you really enjoy. You might find a passion, like this man has. That's what I told him. I said, man, I can't wait to get back out there on the streets. I said, I get it, man. It's your passion. You love it. You love sharing the gospel. You love helping others. You love, being in that environment, to help those that can't help themselves or won't help themselves or what have you. And he shared some personal stories with me too of great deliverance and healing and just people that had no light in their eyes. Now they have light in their eyes kind of thing. Like he told me about this dude that tried to sell him drugs last time he was out there, but he preached the gospel to him, and now when he saw him again, he's like, there was a light in his eyes. I mean, that's cool, man. I mean, that's cool. So no matter what it is in life that people want to do, they might think, it's too late, I'm too old, I'm too this, I'm too that, whatever. That might be true. I mean, I don't know. It's not like you can go out, for a football team when you're in your 50s. I mean, you got to be realistic, okay? But at the same time, there are certain things that people can do still. You're not dead yet kind of thing, So I was just thinking about this, I was like, yeah, pretty much the only thing that I haven't done that I always wanted to do. And the reason is just because it's so expensive and my eyesight isn't as good as it used to be. But if I ever had the opportunity, I would want to get a pilot's license. I'd want to learn how to fly. I think that would be so cool, man. Wouldn't that be so cool to learn how to fly a plane? That would just be cool. Anyway, I mean, I think that would be awesome. So I thought about that for years, but it's just very, very expensive. And like I said, my eyesight isn't as good as it once was, so I don't even know if I can do it anymore. But still, I would check into it if I had the funds or what have you. But other than that, I can't really think of anything that looking back to say, yeah, I want to do this or I want to do that, or I wish I would have done that, I wish I would have done that. No, because I pretty much tried. My wife and kids and, pretty much anybody who knows me can attest to this. It's like, yeah, he may not have always succeeded, but he tried. At least he gave an effort. At least he made the attempt, so that way you don't, sit back and say, yeah, well, wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda, but didn't. Yeah, that's a horrible way to live. So you know what? It's not really a New Year's message per se. I mean, even though we're, first month of 2025 still, and I know it's still been very challenging for a lot of people. Pastor Ben Faircloth's back in the hospital again. They announced it. I mean, he let me know, and then they announced it at the service yesterday. His sodium level intake is all out of whack. Sodium levels all out of whack. So they got to get that straight and everything. So, for some people, 2025 isn't much different than 2026, or 2026 isn't much different than 2025, at least right now. And other people I know have gotten hit hard, with things in their life, stories I've read, just horrific things, terrible things. I mean, listen, you'd have to have your head so far up somewhere to not know what's going on in the world right now. I mean, it's really in your face everywhere. So this isn't one of those things, just people can read headlines, they can read stories, they can read emails, they can read text messages, they can read all that stuff, themselves. And I've got people sending me all kinds of stuff, blowing up my phone over the weekend and whatnot, It's just like ding, 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 ding. Finally I had to turn it off and block some people, temporarily, because it's like, oh my gosh. I get it. I know the world's burning. I get it. So, I mean, but I understand the concern, and I understand people, are they want to be up to date on things and informed. I get all that. I respect all of that. But quite honestly, we can't do much about any of this anymore. I mean, you pray, you fast if you're led to do that. You thank the Lord for your health, you plead the blood of Jesus over everyone and everything, in your life. And you just live your life, man. And, let the chips fall where they may. But that doesn't mean you just sit around and do nothing. I said so. When people are criticizing my friend, these modern day Pharisees or whatever, you can't do this, you can't do that, you shouldn't do this. My question to them he's a nice guy, like I said, but I'm not that nice. I would say straight up to their face, it's like, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, what do you do for the kingdom? What do you do for others? What do you do? What do you do for anybody? Other than be a keyboard warrior or keyboard commando or whatever, and criticize other people for going out and preaching the gospel on the streets. I mean, what is it that you do? What would you say you do here? That old Office Space reference, when the guy's interviewing to keep his job. What would you say you do here? Because it's like he's trying to find some kind of purpose and meaning in his job, and he can't, because he knows he's just wasting space. He's just a waste of space. So they're like, you're interviewing to keep your job, but you don't even know what your job is, and you don't even know why we should keep you. So it's just like, I'm sorry, but I just think that to myself, because it's like, take a risk, man. Step out. Because when I'm able to, when I have some time off, when I'm able to take some time off, I have the funds or whatever the case may be, I plan to go with him, Lord willing, and get out there and, and just observe and learn, and see for myself, what it's like. I mean, I've been around, working armed security and law enforcement and stuff. I mean, I've been around, gangs and just, how do I say it? Just a lot of violence and a lot of, drunks and people that are high and, all that stuff. But it's been a long time. It's been like since, I don't know, it's been 20 plus years. So I pretty much stayed away from it for a long time but I mean, I do understand the element. Let's put it that way. I mean, so I get it, and people need love, and they need compassion, and they need, they need Jesus, and if my friend's not willing to go out there and do it, and other ministries aren't willing to go out there and do it, then who's going to do it? Who's going to do it? Not the keyboard commando, keyboard warrior, false prophet, false teacher, ne'er-do-wells. I like that term. I was watching Stephen Kozar, the Messed Up Church, stream the other day. He had Drew Bloom on as a guest, and that term came up, ne'er-do-well. I was like, that's one I haven't heard in a long time. Ne'er-do-wells. Yeah. It was like, seriously. So who's going to do the work? I mean, who's going to do the kingdom work? Who's going to bring in the great final harvest? So anyway, these are just my thoughts for the day. But I hope y'all are doing well out there. I hope you're staying warm. Hey, drip those faucets, keep the cabinets open. Let the heat get to your pipes and everything. And it's gonna freeze, man. Check out Mark Weatherman Plus. It's gonna freeze a lot of areas. If it's not already, and I know it's already starting, but it's gonna get colder, and it's gonna be bad. So be prepared. Don't go out on the roads unless you have the tires for it. 4-wheel drive kind of stuff, depending upon where you live. It's not worth it. Be smart. Be wise. Use that gray matter that God gave us all in our brain. Think about what you're doing before you do it. Make those good and wise choices and decisions. So I don't know. That's just a dad coming out of me. What can I say? Anyway, once a dad, always a dad, I guess. Anyway, that's it. Y'all take care. Be blessed. Have a great rest of your afternoon. If you can, get out there, get some exercise if you're not freezing, and if the weather allows it, and enjoy. If you have any kind of weather like I have, nice blue skies and with the sun and not horribly cold, hey, enjoy it, because those days are going to come few and far between here pretty soon. So we got a lot of winter left, man. There's certain areas winter doesn't end until like April. Okay? Sometimes the end of April, depending upon where you are and what's going on in the atmosphere and stuff. So be prepared. I think we're in for a rough one. All right, y'all take care. Be blessed. Have a good one. Bye-bye.